Good afternoon, everybody. Your governor here again, giving you your hopefully daily dose of um, evidence and reason. Today, I want to make a quick video, always a quick video, regarding a particular issue that I want to discuss with you, and I would like to know your opinion. But I want to discuss this just in case you haven't been paying attention and you haven't noticed it. But there are a lot of people around that are pushing for. They self-proclaim that they care about they care about the environment, and they the Green New Deal, or how we should preserve our resources and the environment, and how should we protect nature, and all those very important things that I agree with, some of them. But right then and there, they turn around and then they advocate for open borders and open immigration, and whoever wants to can come here and do whatever they want and all that. Now, this is what I think, and you don't have to be extremely brilliant to notice this correlation that I'm going to bring up to your attention. But I don't know, maybe you haven't been paying attention. So this is my question. Let's say that for a second. Let's say that you were born. I was born. Let's say, just saying, hypothetically, that I was born in Guatemala, and back in where I live, I had a bike, zero emissions. I had a radio, small radio, and I had a TV, small one too. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a big house that consumed a lot of electricity. I didn't have air conditioning. I didn't have hot water or cold water heater, either gas or electric. I didn't have any of those. I didn't have a microwave. I didn't have a big TV. I didn't have a DVD, and I didn't have all kinds of things. Maybe I had a cell phone and a bike, once again, and one of those TVs, small ones, and small things here and there. And now I immigrate here. So overnight, out of a sudden, now I have a car, and now I have a microwave, and now I have a house that has several bedrooms and several bathrooms, and have a water heater that could be electric or could be propane or liquid gas, whatever the thing is. And now I have this electricity bill, and now I have a blender and big TV, and most definitely not only a car but two, because maybe I'm married and my wife needs a car too. And all these happen overnight. Overnight, I went from having a radio and a bike to first world kind of life standards. Cars, houses, all kinds of things. My level of consumption went up dramatically, exponentially. My carbon footprint increased, I don't know, 1,000-fold. Is anyone actually thinking about that? Because that is a problem right there. If we're really concerned about caring about the environment, protecting the environment, conserving resources, I wonder why bringing people overnight from third world to first world standards, life standards. I wonder what that would do to the environment. I don't think it's gonna have a very good impact on the environment. Now you have more emissions, and now you have to produce more electricity to support all this demand and all this consumption that we're trying to cut back. We're trying to cut back in consumption. We're trying to cut back in emissions. We're trying to cut back in, all the things. But now you're bringing people in that have very little carbon footprint in other places, and you're bringing them to this huge carbon footprint overnight, almost overnight. Just food for thought. Some people are saying that they care about the kids, and I always combine all these problems with, not only with, the ramifications of the quality of the people, the quality of society itself, but to economics too. Some people are concerned, they pretend that they are concerned about the kids and the younger generations, and what are we gonna leave behind for them to enjoy. And my question is, imagine if selling off your future generations to some bankster through debt, if that is a good thing, if that is actually caring about your kids. Because we are $30 trillion in debt right now, and counting. And that have to be paid. Now, you in your lifetime, you're not gonna be able to pay for that. Due to the huge amount of money that $30 trillion is, in counting, most definitely, your kids are not gonna be able to pay for that. And most definitely your grandkids either. So you're selling future generations, people that hasn't even been born, to banksters in the name of consumption. This is what governments do. They want, back in the days, they were bound by the gold standard. They could only print as much money as they could get gold out of the ground. They didn't like that because they were tied. Their hands were tied. So they got rid of that. So now you can have all these social programs and all these welfare programs and all these nonsensical social security programs and Medicare and medical, and I mean all kinds of things that are unsustainable. These are, by the way, those $30 trillion are in founded liabilities. There are like 150 trillion that are in unfounded liabilities, and those unfounded liabilities are Social Security, Medicare, and others. It's just no enough money to pay for any of that. Government don't have money. Governments only can produce money through taxation, printing, and borrowing. Taxation is bad. Money is property. Anyone taking property forcibly from you is immoral and illegal. If it is willingly and you want to participate on it, then that is fine. But forcibly, that is bad. And if I cannot do it, nobody else could do it. If I cannot buy a car and send you the bill, the government cannot buy a car and send me the bill. They shouldn't. But then older generations allow them to do that. Now it's up to us, younger generations, to fix that and bring things back to what they should be. Once again, the answers are not in the future. The answers sometimes are in the past. We didn't have these problems before. We don't have to have them today. We need to look back and we need to fix it. We got the answers already. It worked before. So, taxation, bad. That is at the very bottom. Is black. Men dressed in black, pointing guns to your head, taking property forcibly from you. That is not good. Now, printing money, not good either. You have to keep a balance between the amount of products and services that you have in circulation in the economy and the amount of money that you have in circulation in the economy. You cannot have way more money than you have products and services because, what is going to be the price of those products and services then? And you cannot have way too many products and services and very little money running around, because then, once again, how are you going to pay for all those products and services? So you need to keep a balance between the two of them. And that balance is dictated by free market, never by government. Now, back in the days, once again, we got the gold standard, which dictated the amount of money that could be in circulation, and we got the money that you had saved on the bank, and that dictated the interest rates on that money. The more money, since you couldn't print out of the thin air, you needed to have reserves, and that reserves come from people saving money in the bank. So the amount of money that you have saved in the bank dictated the price of money, the price of borrowing money. Let's say I am an entrepreneur and I'm following the cycles, and I see that there is a lot. How do I know this? Because the interest rates are very low. When interest rates are very low, that means that there is a huge availability of money in savings that I can borrow. And when I borrow that money at low interest rates, I can invest in my business, and I can invest in my company, and I can grow my company, and I can offer more products and more services, because when you save, eventually you're gonna have to spend, right? Now, if you had high interest rates on that money, you knew that there was a lot of spending going on and there is not much money available in the bank right now to lend, because people spend the money. So this is not the time for you as an entrepreneur to invest and to grow your business, because the money's gone already. You see, this is what dictates interest rates. And what used to dictate the amount of money was the gold standard. Now we don't have that anymore. Now we have a central planner and the Federal Reserve that dictates, that is trying to manipulate the amount of money, that is trying to equilibrate the amount of money available with the amount of products and services that there is in the economy. But they cannot, and when they fail, they cause crashes, economy crashes, and they cause all kinds of problems, or shortages, or housing hikes prices, or it is bad. They cannot control this because there are too many factors that goes in the economy. You cannot, a central planner cannot control that. So they are trying to equilibrate this, but unfortunately it doesn't work. Now, on top of that, there are other problems, like every system that every man or any man can put in place, it gets corrupted. Yesterday in the video that I uploaded, I explained it, that if I was in charge, that means but someone else was in charge of the supply of money, and I knew. Remember the $10 little explanation, and I knew that there are, I don't know, once again, $10 in the economy, and I'm gonna print $10 more. Whenever I dump those $10 in the economy, the money, the second that those $10 hit the economy, I am still the first people that get that money, get those $10 that are hitting the economy at the face value of the amount of money that is circulating in the economy at that point. So they got an advantage. They get money like for nothing. They're making money for nothing. And that is no good. That is not free market. That is not capitalism. We are not living in a free market economy anymore. We are not living in capitalism anymore. There is no free market and there is no capitalism. In the meantime, the supply of money and the control of interest rates are in the hands of government. I hope the message is clear enough. You need to understand this. No free market. No capitalism in the meantime. Government have control over the interest rates and the amount of money and the supply of currency, basically. So let's go back to the people immigrated and people defending the environment and at the same time open borders and all that. Once again, imagine now I am here from Guatemala and now I have a car and now I consume gas and now I consume way more electricity than I used to, and now I consume way more products that I used to. Now I got a phone and newer phone, and now I'm part of this society that consumes and consumes and consumes, which I love, by the way. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just trying to make a point. We have to be either for one thing or the other. The two together don't go. I'm sorry, but either or, the two of them, no. So let's say let's put California for example. The birth rates in California have been going down for way too long. California is way beyond replacement levels by now for the regional population. Now people are not having kids, and the statistics are clear about how many people are incoming California legally, of course, that you can count, and the people that are going out. And the numbers are clear. That way more people are getting out than people are coming in. So I ask yourself this question. I ask this question to yourself. If people are not having kids and birth rates are plummeting, where is the demand coming from? People are not being born, and people are leaving in droves. Where is the demand coming from? So before I'm gonna go back to this again, but let me finish the first three. Taxation, bad. Printing money is bad, and now borrowing money. When you borrow money, I'm sorry. When you print money, you devaluate the value of the currency. Money is a product like any other product. The more available is that product, the cheaper it is. Simple as that. Products that are very expensive is because they are very hard to get or very hard to come by. Simple as that. Products that are readily available are very cheap, very easily to come by. Simple as that. The more money you have, the more available money is, the cheaper it is. So that's why you see a huge increase in prices. Back in the days, you could get a gallon of gas for, 12 cents. Today is $3.75. It's the same gas, the same people, the same everything. The process, if anything, have been way more streamlined and way more ironed out and way more efficient, but the prices are way higher. Now, in theory, in reality, someone could argue that actually the price is cheaper because, yes, compare 20 cents to 375. Obviously, 375 is a higher amount of money, but the value of the currency have gone down so dramatically that 20 cents were actually worth more than 375. You could do more with 20 cents than with 375. 20 cents back in the days than with 375 today. So, and that is a valid argument right there. I'm just giving you rough numbers. I mean, details here and there. Now, printing money. Now, borrowing money. When you borrow money, you are selling off your citizens, born and unborn, to whoever you are borrowing the money from. The borrower is slave to the lender. It always has been like that, and it always will be like that. And I strongly encourage you to not do that. Do not be part of that situation. It's negative. You have $30 trillion in debt, and those are founded liabilities, and they're not even founded. It is bad. It is seriously bad. So borrowing money is bad. At least if you're not gonna pay it off in a short period of time, because that money acquires interest on top of that. So now what we're doing right now is that we're borrowing today at the expense of tomorrow, and that cannot end well. There is zero chance, zero possibilities that could possibly end well. Not for you, not for your kids, not for your grandkids. And you can keep going if you want to. I'm sorry, that's reality right there. And when you start bringing people here from other places that have a very hard time to compete with the, let's say, local population, and they cannot get jobs, and they don't assimilate, and they don't speak the language, and they're here already, and now they have to be dependent on government programs and government assistance, and that is tax money. Now, the problem with that is that there is not enough money working so you can tax them, so you can pay for all of these things. Very unfortunate, because we have been attacking women for getting pregnant, and we want women to be strong and independent and don't depend on a man. And when you don't depend on a man, you cannot get pregnant. And if you do, then you are dependent on the government again. So you are depending on a man anyways. Now you don't have enough people working that you can tax, so you can support all this population of people that are coming here that, once again, don't speak the language, they don't integrate, they have a very hard time getting a job, they have an extremely hard time getting a well-paid job, and now they depend on the government. They depend on welfare, they depend on Medicare, they depend on, Section 8, subsidizing housing, and food stamps, and EBTs, and cash allowances, and all kinds of things. And the government doesn't have enough money, enough people to tax, so they can get that money free and clear, so they can give it to these people. So what do? Well, number one, they tax you to death. But they have an idea of more or less which is the breaking point. So after they tax you to death, because they don't want to kill you, because otherwise you are the tax cost. If you die, they cannot extract taxes from you. That would be inconvenient. So they tax you to the point that you are not dead, but you're almost there, so you can still produce. And then they print money, but they know the limits of that. They know that if you print too much money with not enough products and services in the economy, you can crash the economy. It happened before, it can happen again. It's happening actually. And then whatever is left, then they borrow it. How can that end well for you? For any citizen of any country? It cannot. And now all these people can live their dream. Now they can have a car, and now they can drive in the freeway, and now they can go to the hospital, and now they can eat food, and now they can do all kinds of beautiful things on your money. No good. Then you get on the car, you turn on the car, and you're trying to hit the supermarket, and you say an hour in traffic. And you can ask yourself the question, where are all these people coming from? People are not being born. People are leaving in droves. And it's still like that traffic. This place should be a desert. Well, now you know. There are around 3,000 people crossing the border every day. 3,000 people. You cannot make 3,000 houses every day to satisfy the housing problem. Now imagine what that would do to the price of housing when you have all this influx and all this demand that you cannot satisfy. Would that have something to do with the price of housing in some places? I wonder. What do you think? On top of that, you have other problems. You got Chinese buyers, because manufacturing, that is all passé. That doesn't work. Let's outsource that. Well, it doesn't work for you, but it's working beautiful for the Chinese. They come here with cash, and they price everybody out of the market. You as a regular American cannot compete. Now, if you mix this with all the regulations for housing and zoning and this and that, and you cannot build here, and you cannot do this here, and you cannot do then you cannot build enough houses fast enough, fast enough, and now you have all these people coming. That is the perfect recipe for a beautiful disaster. Have you thought of it? Now we have a housing problem. Now same thing if you go to the hospital. There is a problem. There is a shortage of doctors. Look, when people get pregnant and they have kids, you have time to prepare for the booming of that population, because those kids take time to grow. You see? Now you have time to build houses, and now you have time to create doctors or to educate the doctors, and you have time to build hospitals, and you have time to build infrastructure, and you have time to do things. If you just happen to appear out of the thin air through the border, there is no time to build nothing. You have no time to build infrastructure. You have no time to educate the doctors. You have no time to do hospitals. You have no time to do houses. You just show it up. Hey, here I am. What is my house? Oh, by the way, I'm sick. I need to go to the hospital. And I need this, and I need that, and I need here, and all the demand, all the resources, all the consumption. And on top of that, all of that resources, all of that consumption, all of that is a huge part of it is coming from taxpayer money. It's not even produced by these people. It's not being converted from work to resources. It's being redistributed from people that work that cannot convert actually those fruits of their labor into resources and assets is coming from those people all the way to these people that don't produce, and become automatically, they transform those assets, those resources into kids. Now let me ask you something. It's a numbers game. If I am I don't know, in Spanish is cacique, the cacique of X tribe, and you are the cacique of Y tribe, and my people over here are having 4 and 5 kids per head, and yours is having 1, whose tribe is gonna take over the next one? Yours with 1 kid, or mine with 5? I'm gonna run you over. Simple as that. Now we're taxing people that are productive, that are intelligent, that should be able to keep those resources. We're taxing them to subsidize people that are not as productive and not as responsible. We're subsidizing low productivity and low responsibility. And I wonder, how could that end well for anyone? Because the party's over. And it is extremely unfair for these people that have no future in these kind of societies. It is extremely unfair to give them this idea that they can live for free forever. Because when the thing collapses, it's gonna be extremely hard on them. Extremely hard. And that is bad, I would say. So I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you very much for your time. As usual, please subscribe and like and comment. I would like to know your opinions. I would like to know what you have to say regarding any of these matters. If you have questions, I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you very much once again, and have a beautiful day. Bye bye.